Hi everyone and welcome. Are you ready to trade your everyday routine for charming cobblestone streets and amazing views? Imagine walking through the narrow alleys of a medieval town, the scent of fresh bread wafting through the air. Whether you're excited to try Tuscan wine or hoping to explore the busy markets of Marrakesh, we're here to help you prepare for your trip. I remember my first time in Marrakesh. The vibrant colours and sounds were overwhelming but exhilarating. This isn't just about visiting a bunch of places, it's about how travel can change you. I once met a traveller who said that seeing the northern lights in Iceland was a life-changing experience. We'll share helpful tips, smart tricks, and good advice to help you, even if you've never travelled outside your country before. For instance, always roll your clothes when packing to save space. From the first steps of planning to saving those special memories. Think of this as your complete guide to exploring the world, one adventure at a time. Don't forget to bring a good camera to capture those unforgettable moments. So grab your travel journal, buckle up, and let's start this exciting journey together. I can't wait to share my stories and hear yours as we embark on this adventure. Before we get into the details, let's figure out what kind of traveler you are. Do you love history and want to explore old ruins? Or are you a foodie excited to try new foods? Knowing what you love will help you find places that you'll really enjoy. Remember, travel should be about what you want to do, not following someone else's plan. Next, let's talk about money now. Don't let the word budget scare you. Traveling doesn't have to be super expensive. With good planning and a little creativity, your money can go a long way. Now, with our budget in mind, let's figure out those vacation days. Do you have to travel during school breaks, or can you travel whenever? Once you've chosen your dates, it's time to pick where you're going. Remember, it's about having a good time, not rushing through a lot of places. Don't try to squeeze everything into one trip. Enjoy each moment. Think about the weather and time of year at your destination. Will it be sunny, or will you need warm clothes? Now that you know what kind of trip you want, how much you can spend, and when you want to go, you're ready to plan an amazing adventure. First, your passport is your ticket to see the world. Make sure it's good for at least 6 months after you plan to come home. Lots of countries need this. If this is your first passport, give yourself plenty of time to get it. It can take a few weeks, and don't forget to make copies. Keep one copy separate from your real passport when you travel, and give another copy to a friend or family member you trust. Now let's talk about visas. You might need a visa to go to some countries. It depends on where you're from and where you're going. Find out about visa rules early, because getting a visa can sometimes take a long time. Before you get on the plane, let's talk about travel insurance. It doesn't cost much for peace of mind if something unexpected happens, like needing a doctor, losing your luggage, or if your trip gets cancelled. Look at different insurance plans and pick one that works for you and your budget. Remember, being careful can save you from problems later. While we're talking about documents, make digital copies of all your important travel papers like your passport, visas, flight confirmations, and hotel reservations. Save these digital backups safely in a cloud service or email them to yourself so you can find them easily. This way, even if you lose your paper copies, you won't have to worry because you have backups right on your phone. Okay, now that you've chosen where you're going and have your passport, let's find those plane tickets. Booking your flights early is really important, especially if you're traveling during a busy time of year. Ticket prices can go up really fast, like a gondola going up a mountain. Don't just pick the first flight you see. It's like choosing the first pastry you see in a bakery. There might be something even better. Use those websites that compare flights. They're really helpful. They're like your own personal travel agents, always working to find you the best route and the best price, and it's free. Be open to changing your travel dates if you can. Sometimes, moving your trip by a day or two can save you a lot of money. It's like finding a hidden restaurant down a side street. A little flexibility can have big rewards. Remember, it's not just about getting there, it's about having extra money to spend on your trip. Look closely at those extra fees when booking flights. Some airlines add extra charges for things like bags or choosing your seat. You think you found a great deal, and then suddenly there are hidden costs. Read all the details, everyone. We want to have money to spend at those fun local markets, not use it all up before we even arrive. With your plane tickets booked, let's talk about where you'll stay. This isn't just a place to sleep. It's your home base for all your adventures. Do you see yourself in a charming small hotel, a lively hostel, or maybe a fancy hotel? Each one gives you a different taste of the local culture. Think about what kind of trip you want. If you're on a budget and want to meet other travelers, hostels are great. They're like the social centers for backpackers. Or maybe you want a little more privacy and local flavor. A cozy bed and breakfast or a guest house might be perfect for you. And then there are hotels, from affordable chains to those luxurious getaways. They offer convenience and comfort, often with perks like breakfast or a swimming pool. Decide what's most important to you: location, price, amenities, or a unique feel. Just like with plane tickets, book your accommodations ahead of time, especially if you're traveling during the busy season. Believe me, you don't want to be wandering around a new city with all your bags, desperately looking for a room. Plan ahead and relax, knowing you have a comfy and welcoming place to stay. Packing. It's like trying to fit your whole life into a suitcase, and believe me, you can get good at it. The trick is to pack light, like you're going for a quick hike in the Scottish Highlands. Every little bit helps. Start with the most important things: your passport, your ticket to adventure, any visas you need, and all your important travel papers. Next, clothes. We're not packing for a fashion show, are we? Pick clothes that you can mix and match. Think comfy shoes for walking on old streets, a light jacket for chilly evenings, and a scarf. Always a smart choice. Remember, you can always do laundry while you're traveling. Don't forget a simple first aid kit. Bandages, things for aches and pains, antiseptic wipes. These are good to have for small accidents. A small umbrella is always a good idea because you never know when it might rain. And remember, you can usually buy toiletries wherever you're going. No need to pack everything from your bathroom. Lastly, let's talk electronics. Your phone, a charger, very important, and maybe a small camera if you want to take pictures. But remember, the best things to remember are the experiences you have, not how many pictures you take. Pack light, pack simple, and enjoy your trip. Okay, let's talk about how to pack well. Packing smart is like a game of Tetris with your stuff. Roll your clothes instead of folding them. It's a total game changer. It not only saves space, but it also keeps your clothes from getting wrinkled. And those packing cubes, they're a secret weapon for travelers. Think of these little zippered compartments as keeping your suitcase organized like a well-oiled machine. Shirts in one, pants in another, underwear and sock. You get the picture. No more digging through your bag like you're searching for buried treasure. Before you close that suitcase, make sure you know how much your airline allows you to bring. Fees for bags that are too heavy can really mess with your travel money. And don't forget to pack a small day pack or backpack. It'll be your best friend for carrying important things while you're out exploring. Remember, packing light isn't about being uncomfortable. It's about having more freedom. The less you carry, the easier it is to move around, explore those little streets, jump on a train at the last minute, and really enjoy your adventure. Subscribe to the channel for more travel tips and tricks. Okay, with your bags all packed and your flights booked, let's talk about the most important part of your trip, the itinerary. Think of it like your own treasure map, leading you to the best things to see and do. Start by doing some research. Read guidebooks, travel blogs, or even talk to friends who have been there before. Get inspired. What are the must-see sites? Are there any hidden gems? What experiences make you excited? Write down the things you really want to do, the famous places you want to see, and any unusual spots you want to explore. Now decide what's most important. You can't do everything, and that's all right. It's about quality, not quantity. Choose experiences that you're really interested in, like looking at famous art, hiking in beautiful places, or trying new foods. Remember, this is your adventure, so make it about what you love. Don't be afraid to go off the beaten path. Sometimes the best experiences are the ones you didn't plan. With your most important experiences in mind, it's time to create a loose travel plan. Now, I'm not talking about a strict minute-by-minute schedule. We're not here to rush through our travels like we're running to catch a train. Think of it more as a flexible plan, a gentle guide to keep you on track while still allowing for spontaneous activities. Group activities by location to minimize travel time. If you're spending a few days in Rome, dedicate one day to ancient wonders like the Colosseum and the Forum, another to exploring Vatican City, and maybe a third day to wandering the charming Trastevere neighborhood. For some attractions, especially popular ones, it's a good idea to book tickets ahead of time. Nobody wants to waste precious vacation time standing in line, right? Plus, booking ahead of time often comes with the perk of skipping the ticket lines entirely. And here's a helpful tip: plan for some downtime. Leave room for those relaxing lunches at sidewalk cafes, those unplanned trips to local markets, those moments where you just soak in the atmosphere and let the city's rhythm surround you. Remember, travel is not just about checking things off a list, it's about embracing the unexpected and enjoying every moment. We don't want anything to ruin your awesome trip, do we? That means taking care of your health. Before you pack your bags, make an appointment to see your doctor. This is really important if you have any health problems already. They can give you advice just for you. Make sure your shots are up to date for where you're going and give you any medicine you might need. Speaking of medicine, always keep it in your carry-on bag. Sometimes bags get lost and you don't want to be stuck without your important medicine. It's always a good idea to pack a first aid kit, bandages, antiseptic wipes, things for pain. Here's a helpful tip. Put some local over-the-counter medicines for common problems in a small zip-top bag. You'll be happy you did if you need something fast. Trust me on that one. Being prepared for health problems is like bringing a raincoat. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Doing these small things can make a big difference in having a healthy and fun trip. Every place has its own unique rhythm, and that includes different customs and rules. Before you go, spend some time learning about the local do's and don'ts of where you're going. It shows respect and helps you fit in a little better. Now, let's talk about keeping your valuable things safe. Pickpockets are a problem in crowded tourist spots, so pay attention to what's happening around you. Think about using a money belt or a hidden pouch under your clothes for your passport, cash and credit cards. And remember, those expensive cameras and smartphones can be tempting targets, so keep them safe and hidden whenever you can. It's also a good idea to leave expensive jewelry at home. It can attract unwanted attention. And here's a tip from an experienced traveler. Make copies of all your important documents, passport, visa, travel plans, and keep them separate from the originals. That way, if anything happens, you have backups. Remember, staying safe is all about being smart and aware of your surroundings. By following these simple tips, you'll be able to relax and enjoy your trip with peace of mind. Money, it's what makes travel possible. Before you leave, it's a good idea to call your bank and credit card companies to let them know you'll be traveling to another country. This helps avoid awkward situations where your card gets blocked because they think someone else is using it. While you're talking to them, ask about fees for using your card in another country, and think about getting a credit card that doesn't charge those fees. Those fees can really add up to a lot. Speaking of adding up, keep track of how much you're spending. It's easy to get carried away while traveling and spend too much, so write down what you spend or use a budgeting app to keep track of your money. Now, let's talk about exchanging money. Airports and hotels don't always give you the best exchange rates, so I suggest exchanging a little bit of money at the airport for things you need right away, and then finding a good bank or exchange place once you've settled in. And here's a helpful tip: try to get a better deal on the fees, especially if you're exchanging a lot of money. Remember, every bit of money you save is another tasty treat you can buy. While it's always good to have some local money for small things and tips, only using cash can be risky. That's where credit cards are helpful. They're a safe and easy way to pay, especially for big things like hotels and rental cars. Plus, if there's an emergency, a credit card can really help. Just keep your cards safe and treat them like the valuable things they are. Those fancy travel wallets that block RFID might seem like a good idea, but most new credit cards already have security chips. It's more important to be careful and protect your PIN number when you pay. One last tip for managing your money on your trip. Don't be afraid to bargain, especially at local markets and with street vendors. It's part of the fun, and you might be surprised at the good prices you can get. You've planned, you've packed, and now it's time to embrace the heart and soul of travel. The experience itself. Remember, this isn't a business trip, it's an adventure. So be open to trying new things, even if they scare you a little. That could mean sampling exotic cuisine, participating in a local tradition, or simply striking up a conversation with someone who doesn't speak your language. You'll be amazed at the connections you can make and the stories you'll gather. Speaking of language, learning a few basic phrases in the local language can be really helpful. A simple hello, thank you, or excuse me, spoken with a smile can open doors and create instant rapport with locals. They'll appreciate the effort, and you'll get a taste of the beautiful mix of languages around the world. Remember, travel is about stepping outside your comfort zone and embracing the unfamiliar. It's in those moments of vulnerability and discovery that the real magic happens. Now, I know we talked about planning your trip, and having a plan is good. But here's the thing about traveling, it's full of surprises. So be flexible and don't be afraid to change your plans if something unexpected comes up. Maybe you find a charming cafe, meet another traveler who tells you about a hidden gem, or just decide to stay longer in a place you really like. Those unplanned moments often become the best memories. Traveling is as much about the journey as it is about where you're going. So enjoy everything, the sights, the sounds, the smells, the people you meet. Take time to enjoy it all, even if it's just sitting at a sidewalk cafe, drinking coffee, and watching people walk by. And remember, it's okay to get lost sometimes, both literally and figuratively. Some of the best travel stories come from those unexpected turns and unplanned adventures. So go out there, embrace the unexpected, and let the journey happen naturally. You won't be sorry. We all want to remember our awesome trips, right? And these days, it's super easy. But let's be honest, nobody wants a ton of blurry pictures of their thumbs. First tip, imagine your photos are postcards you're sending home. You want to capture what a place feels like, not just a bunch of landmarks. Zoom in on the little things, the face of a local artist, a market stall full of colourful spices, the sunlight on the cobblestone streets. Don't be afraid to try new things. Take pictures from different angles. Capture the hustle and bustle of a city street or the peacefulness of a quiet lake at sunset. The best camera is the one you have with you, so use your phone as best as you can. Less is more. You don't need to take a picture of everything. Focus on taking pictures of the moments that really matter to you, the ones that make you smile when you look back at them years later. But bringing memories home is more than just pictures. A travel journal is like a treasure chest filled with adventures. It's where you write down the funny stories, the surprising things that happen, and the yummy food you tried. Imagine years from now, finding a dried flower pressed in its pages, reminding you of a pretty garden in Florence, or finding a note about a restaurant a nice person in Paris told you about. And don't worry, you don't have to be a famous writer to keep a travel journal. It can be simple or fancy, whatever you like. Write a few sentences each day about what you saw, who you met, and how you felt. It's your own personal storybook. Years later, these journals will take you back to the cobblestone streets of Rome or the sunny beaches of Greece long after your souvenirs are forgotten. Believe me, you'll be glad you took the time to write down these memories. You've explored new places, learned about different cultures, and come home with lots of memories and a camera roll full of pictures. Now it's time to share those adventures with everyone. First, get your friends and family together for a classic slideshow. But make it fun. Share funny stories, interesting things you learned about other cultures, and maybe even some funny travel mistakes. Next, share your travels online. Post those amazing photos on social media, write an exciting blog post about your trips, or leave helpful reviews on travel websites. Your adventures can encourage other people to try new things and see the world, and your tips and suggestions might even help other travelers plan their own amazing trips. Remember, sharing your adventures not only helps you remember them, but also helps build a worldwide group of people who love to travel. The best part about coming home from a big trip? It's the perfect time to start thinking about the next one. The world is a big and amazing place, and there's always something new to see. Think about what you liked most on your last trip. Was it the art and buildings in Italy, the busy markets of Morocco, or the peaceful beaches of Thailand? Use that to start thinking about where to go next. Start doing some research, look at travel magazines, and let your love of travel lead the way. Maybe you want to see the old ruins in South America, the exciting culture of Southeast Asia, or the beautiful mountains of Scotland. Remember, you can go anywhere. So get excited about traveling, start planning, and get ready for your next amazing trip. And who knows, maybe I'll see you there. Traveling as a beginner doesn't have to be scary. With good planning, an open mind, and a love for adventure, you'll make memories that last a lifetime. Remember, the journey is just as important as where you're going. Welcome the unexpected. Enjoy every moment, and don't be afraid to get lost in the beauty of our world. Happy travel!